Welcome to Spoken in Justice, where we put the criminal justice system in the dock. Today, our video is once again dedicated to the CCRC as it comes to more criticism. In an article published on the 11th of November 2024, titled "Was Lucy Ledby Doomed to Get an Unfair Trial?" by Principia Scientific International, a community interest company dedicated to providing educational resources in scientific inquiry, the author draws upon a question posed by Juvenal in his satires, "Quis custodiet ipsos custodis?" or "Who guards the guards?" In the context of miscarriages of justice, this translates to, will the justice system allow itself to be held accountable? Addressing the Criminal Cases Review Commission, the author critiques its role as the only organisation in England, Wales and Northern Ireland that can send cases to the Court of Appeal. While the CCRC asserts its independence from the government, courts, police and prosecution, the author raises concerns about its capacity to oversee judges and their decisions effectively. Three key issues are highlighted. First, commissioners responsible for deciding the fate of CCRC applications are appointed on the Prime Minister's recommendation, making them political appointees. Secondly, 4 commissioners come from the legal profession and are closely connected to regulatory bodies such as the Bar Council or the Solicitors Regulation Authority. And this raises doubts about their ability to independently hold senior members of their profession accountable. And thirdly, and more importantly, the current head of the CCRC also chairs the Judicial Appointments Committee, which oversees judicial appointments. This dual role undoubtedly creates a potential conflict of interests when it comes to critiquing individuals she may have appointed. The author also points to declining funding for the CCRC, which dropped from 9.24 million in 2004 to 6 million in 2023, as evidence of a lack of political will to establish an effective mechanism to check judicial overreach. I do not think we can blame the author for a conclusion which appears both reasonable and faultless. The CCRC's independence has faced additional scrutiny from various quarters. In our video Criminal Cases Review Commission Last Gasp or Survival, we explored criticism raised by a group of campaigners known as Innocent Failed by the CCRC, established by the Jeremy Bamber Innocence Campaign, the JBIC. In short, and for those who did not watch that video, which we recommend you to watch, in May of this year, the group demonstrated outside the CCRC headquarters in Birmingham, expressing concerns that the Criminal Cases Review Commission is overly aligned with the judiciary and police, potentially leading to bias against the individuals claiming wrongful convictions. They highlighted that some CCRC employees are former police officers, further questioning the Commission's impartiality. The campaigners also criticised the real possibility test used by the CCRC, arguing that it sets an excessively high threshold for cases to be referred to the Court of Appeal and allows to perpetuate the justice system's unwillingness to correct its errors. Some have proposed adopting the statutory test used by the Scottish CCRC, which allows referrals if it concludes that a miscarriage of justice may have occurred. However, it is important to note a key distinction. While the Scottish CCRC refers cases to the Scottish High Court, which can overturn convictions based on the possibility of a miscarriage of justice, the Court of Appeal in England applies the stricter test of determining whether a conviction is unsafe. In its 2021 report In the Name of Justice, the Westminster Commission on Miscarriages of Justice recommended that there should be a more objective test. That the CCRC is to refer a case if it considers the conviction may be unsafe, the sentence may be manifestly excessive or wrong in law, or that it is in the interest of justice to make a referral. However, the report made even a bolder recommendation, which we commend, to review the test applied by the Court of Appeal under the Criminal Appeal Act 1968 to allow it to quash a conviction where it has serious doubt about the verdict, even without fresh evidence or new legal argument. The review should also address concerns about the retention and disclosure of evidence. Empowering the Court of Appeal to take a more flexible approach, focusing on fairness and equity rather than rigid procedural rules, may be the only way to provide an effective safeguard against miscarriages of justice. The CCRC faced additional criticism in an article published by the Harwich and Manning Trees Standard on the 27th of November 2024. But before going into the details, if you're finding this video interesting, please do like and subscribe to assist us in our mission to humanize wrongful conviction. The critique centered on the Commission's failure to publicly address at the opening of its 5th annual Open Board meeting held on the 26th of November, the contentious position of its chair in light of the earlier remarks made by the Ministry of Justice indicating that they were considering her removal from the role, highlighting an issue of lack of self-reflection amongst others. Arguably, this silence could be interpreted as an unwillingness to confront internal challenges or publicly address concerns about its effectiveness and accountability, raising questions about whether the Commission is adequately equipped to critically evaluate its own practices while maintaining the confidence of those it is meant to serve. But aside from criticisms that are obvious in terms of independence, are there other issues that are being overlooked and that may be making the CCRC a failing body from the outset? On the 14th of November 2024, in its annual report laid at Parliament, the CCRC highlighted how this reporting year saw the highest figure of applications submitted since the organisation was set up, with a total of 1,600 cases. Applications referred to the CCRC do not only concern convictions for the most serious cases, but also include sentences. Not only that, it includes all convictions and sentences from service civilian courts, from court martials, from magistrates' courts, and from Crown courts. The CCRC has also got additional significant responsibilities, as it can be asked by the Court of Appeal to investigate and report on an issue in an ongoing appeal it is considering so that it can conclude the case. He can be asked for advice by the Secretary of State for Justice when he or she is considering advising His Majesty the King to issue a royal pardon, or it can also refer cases of its own volition to the Secretary of State for Justice where it thinks a royal pardon should be considered. Could it be argued that the CCRC might have an overly broad range of responsibilities? The Westminster Commission on Miscarriages of Justice, in its report In the Name of Justice, to which we referred earlier, refrained from recommending a reduction in the CCRC workload to save money. It emphasized that all wrongful convictions or sentences have enduring impacts, a sentiment which we wholeheartedly agree. However, there might be a case for restructuring the CCRC into specialized subdivisions, each focusing on distinct type of cases. Indeed, the Westminster Commission itself acknowledged the potential benefits of, for example, creating a specialist unit within the CCRC to address youth justice cases. Building on this idea, the CCRC could be organized into separate units, each dedicated to specific areas, with resources distributed in proportion to the complexity of the cases handled, with units tackling the most serious and intricate cases allocated greater resources. Such an arrangement could also facilitate more effective evaluation of the CCRC's performance by making it clear where improvements are most needed. However, implementing these changes would require statutory reform. Despite expectations that the Law Commission will release a consultation paper with provisional proposals in 2024 and a final report in 2025, tangible changes are unlikely to happen soon. We do not see any signs and wouldn't count on it happening anytime soon. But what are your thoughts on how the CCRC could be structured? Are there specific changes you would like to see? Share your opinions in the comments below. That's all for now. Join us next time as we sit and rise in this unique trial.